All right, all right. I had to blow my nose. I'm sorry. Man, this is all so weird for me. This is my first time doing a stream with this setup, and everything is different. Everything. Like, the mic, I don't mute my mic by clicking the thing in OBS anymore. I have to use the mixer. I don't turn up the music by going into foobar. I use the mixer. I don't turn the game up or down by going into the Windows volume mixer. I have to use the mixer. I can hear myself in my headphones now. That wasn't the case before. I used to stream with just my left headphone on, and my right headphone would just be like on my cheek because I didn't like not being able to hear myself. The way I had it set up before, I could not monitor my own voice. So I had to keep one headphone off because it sounded so muffled to me. The mic volume is too loud with 1-0. Is it in fact too loud? Thank you. Thank you, Gemini, for the 31 months, man. Appreciate it. Damn, that's a long time. Mic volume sounds good to me. Here's the thing about the new setup. I hear what you hear. I hear exactly what you guys hear. The only caveat to that is that I also kind of hear a bit of my own voice in my own head, but it's mostly drowned out by what I hear in the headphones. So I can pretty much tell exactly what the volume balance is, because if it's hard to hear myself for me, then it's hard to hear me for you. But it all sounds good to me. I'm thinking if I sound too quiet for that one specific person, it would be their speakers being weird or something. Mic volume is good, and damn, not monitoring your own voice is horrible. Well, it's not horrible because you can still hear yourself. Like, you can hear yourself IRL. It's just that, like, if you wear both headphones, then it sounds so stupid because you sound all muffled because your ears are all covered. Why am I streaming a fan game at 60 FPS? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One is that it would make absolutely no difference to the quality. Like, I'm pushing 6 megabits per second, 1080p. It would make no difference visually whatsoever for how simple fan games are if I streamed at 50 to try to, like, take advantage of not wasting frames. Second, in order to do that, I'm capturing 60 FPS from my capture card anyway, so I don't know if that would transfer properly to, like, only getting 50 on the output. I don't know if the correct frames would be dropped, if you know what I mean. There's just no reason whatsoever to do it. My stream does have captions, yeah. It's good stuff. I've had that on for a while. People keep commenting on it because nobody else on Twitch has it. The only other place I've seen it is on the, like, Twitch official channel, I think. And I turned it on just because it was there, and I was like, I wonder what that's like. I wonder if it works. And it's been hilarious. So we just kept it ever since. Captions are selectable. Oh yeah, you can turn it off. I heard that on, like, iPhone it's a little annoying to try to turn them off. But other than that, it's most people don't really find it too much of a nuisance. It's really easy to just turn them off on PC especially. So today's the first stream that I'm doing 1080p 60. I was always really opposed to 1080p 60. Especially at 3.5 megabits per second, which was the old limit. And I would still advise never streaming at 1080p at that bit rate, regardless. But at 6 megabits per second, if you have a 2PC setup and you can encode it on a decent encoding profile, then it really does look better. I did a bunch of tests, and it's based on like pretty much everyone's opinion. It looks better, including my own for sure. Confirmed captions are hilarious. Do I have a 144 hertz monitor? Recently set up a dual PC setup. Had screen tearing issues with non-60 FPS output. Even though I don't have a 144 hertz monitor. I have a my monitor's weird. It's 1440p and it's technically 60 hertz out of the box, but it's bought from this like lesser known Korean brand, and they let you overclock the panel. So you can set custom settings, and most of them can get at least 90 hertz. Some of them can get 110, 120. I used to get 120 on mine, but I have to run it at 110 ever since I switched to my new graphics card for some reason. But when I stream, as soon as I plug in the capture card, it automatically goes down to 60 hertz, because that's how I have it configured when those monitors are plugged in. The way that I fixed tearing on my 2PC setup is I started using fast sync in the NVIDIA control panel. For me, when I had no VSync on whatsoever, I would get this subtle screen tearing. And if I put VSync on, it would make it even worse, like way worse. Plus, VSync has that whole input delay issue. But fast sync is a new type of syncing that is it's relatively new that NVIDIA put out. You can go into your managed 3D settings and force every game to use it, and that fixed it for me. It's perfect now. No tearing, no stuttering. It no input lag, anything like that. Looks really good. If that doesn't work for you, you could try setting everything to 59 hertz rather than 60, because you're not technically going to be getting 60 hertz. It's going to be 59.94, I think. So I think some people have had success fixing tearing by doing that. But if you still can't get it to work, I can help you. You can send me a message or something. Because I've messed around with all that fucking shit so much now. The reason I'm playing fan games is not because I couldn't fix the screen tearing. Oh man, I've spent so much time troubleshooting and configuring this shit. I had every problem you can imagine. Every problem. My capture card wouldn't see the 1440p input as 1440p. It would see it as 1600p because reasons. I had to like manually edit the EDID information for my capture card. Don't even ask what the fuck that is, because it's the simple explanation is it's the data that it sends to the computer to say what resolutions it supports. I had to like go in and edit that. Dumbest shit you can imagine. Then I had the screen tearing and fucking everything, man. Audio shit. Every single plug that I plug into my mixer has had ground loop issues. I have 3 ground loop isolators right now. If you don't know what that is, it's just like noise from my wiring, basically. Like my power cables and stuff. It's bringing noise back into my system. I had to get one of those for every single fucking input. I didn't think I'd need one for my mic, going from my mic processor to my mixer, but I need to get one of those now too. It's more expensive because it's a 1/4 inch as opposed to a 3.5 millimeter one. And it's very subtle, that one though. It's essentially inaudible unless you turn up your headphones really, really loud. Rex, you're using up all the allocated food talk time for PC talk. I don't even talk about food on stream that much. I talk about food in Discord all the time. Talk about like try to go to McDonald's on a Friday night at 2 a.m. but they closed even though they're supposed to be open 24 hours. And like complain in the chat, say, oh man, I had to get a fucking sandwich from Tim Hortons. My life is over. That's like half of what I say in my Discord. Hey, what's up, Bo Manchu? So in addition to getting the capture card, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the new setup and stuff because I'm super excited to have it up and running. In addition to the new capture card, which, by the way, the capture card that I have is a Magewell Pro Capture HDMI 4K. It's a 4K capable capture card. Granted, it can only capture 4K at 24 or 30 hertz, but it can capture 1440p at 60 FPS, 60 hertz plus. So I'm natively capturing my 1440p monitor and only downscaling it at the very end on the card. It's so good. It was very expensive, but most of it was paid for with the very generous tip that Turbo Badger gave with which to build a stream PC. It was $500 US, which is nuts, but it's orders of magnitude better than like my AverMedia cards and stuff that I had before. Tim says okay sandwiches, but like when you're hungry, when you're hungry and you're like craving like a fucking hot burger or something, like hot food, you know what I mean? You have to get like a cold sandwich when you're ready to just pig out on fucking greasy fast food, and like that's what you expect, and then you got to settle for a cold sandwich. It's like it's it's just not good. The capture card, I swear to God, has single-digit millisecond delay. You could literally play your game by looking at the OBS capture of it, even though it's like capturing into another computer. Most capture cards have about 500 milliseconds of delay. And then there's the AverMedia ones I've been using, there's like 100 to 200 millisecond audio desync delay between the video and the audio too, so you gotta fucking deal with that. Everything right now, I have no audio delay set up. No video, like everything is like live into OBS on my stream PC, and my audio doesn't have to be like delayed to sync with it or anything, because there's no delay on the capture or the, like it even downscales down on the card and all that shit instantaneously. It's nuts. It's so good. And because of the nature of this setup, I had to abandon the software filters I was using for getting rid of background noise and stuff. So I had to buy a piece of equipment for that. So I bought a thing called a mic processor. It's technically called a channel strip, but it's a mic preamp and a mic processor built in one. The capture card is the Magewell Pro Capture HDMI 4K. Darkness. The mic thing I bought is the DBX286S. It does like a bunch of different things. First of all, it has compression. And you know how I've had quote unquote compression ever since I got my mixer years ago, but it was never really great. Like if I yelled, it was still pretty bad. It helped, but it didn't like completely fix it. So I turned off the compression on my mixer. I'm doing it on the mic processor now, and it's amazing. We tested it in the BRX test channel, and I can yell to my heart's content. I can scream into the mic as loud as I want, and it sounds like, it'll be a little bit louder, so you can tell that I'm yelling, but it's like, it brings it way down. It makes it so good. No quality drop or anything. The only thing is, like, of course, if you're screaming, it's either let it through at full volume, or if you compress it down, it does sound compressed but yeah, it doesn't sound bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's incredible. Thank you, Impossible Soul, for the 2-month reset with Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. Do it, scream. All right, I'll do a little test screen for you. All right, I'll go like, holy shit, what the fuck, game, fuck you, or something, just to show you guys the difference. All right, few second warning, but it shouldn't be too bad. Like, it's not going to be much louder. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Holy fucking shit! What the hell? God damn it! There you go. There's a little taste for you. It's so good, man. And then there's a thing called a de-esser, which Wasn't loud. Yeah, it's so good. I was screaming. Actually screaming. It fucking, yeah, that was me yelling. And it doesn't matter what I do. So then there's the de-esser. What that does is often when you're speaking into a microphone, the S sounds will get picked up and be too harsh. Not RIP headphone users. Yeah. How do you even do compression like that? On like a technical level, how does it work? I have no fucking clue. But it's great. So the de-esser will soften those. So it's a subtle thing. Most people would never really notice it, but it helps. Then there's a low and high frequency enhancer, which adds just richness and warmth to the vocals, which I'm only using a tiny bit of that because a little bit goes a long way. We tested it, and any more, it just makes it sound weird. And then there is the expander, which is what's getting rid of the background noise. My computers are actually producing quite a bit of noise. What stuff do you need to get quality compression? What I have is a vocal processor. The vocal processor was $300 Canadian, I think. And you need a mixer to plug that into, so probably for like $500 you can get it set up. But you need an XLR mic as well, so you'd want to get a decent mic. So you could probably, if you found a good deal, like $500 or $600, $700, depending on how, if you wanted to go like totally starter, like budget stuff, or if you wanted to like get more mid-range. The expander, it's slightly different. It's an expander / gate technically, but it doesn't, you know, if someone has a noise gate, but you can still hear the background noise when they talk, what a noise gate is, the mic doesn't pass the signal through unless there's noise of at least a certain volume coming through. So you won't hear it, but as soon as they start talking, if they have like noisy computers or something, you'll hear all their background noise. So they'll be talking, you'll hear like, and like, it's almost worse sometimes than if they just left it open with the background noise there all the time, because it sounds so weird when they start talking and you hear the noise and then you don't hear the noise, and it's so sharp as it cuts in and out. An expander instead, it takes anything below a certain decibel range, like my fans, and it drops the signal of that down a lot, reduces the volume of it to as close to inaudible levels as possible, so it's like it's not there. It's real good. It's still very difficult to get all of the background noise out without running into issues where, like, I had to make a compromise here, because like if I whisper, it kind of you really think it is, Wolsk? I've been using that for months. I found it quite good, the OBS software suppression. So like if I were to whisper, it could be too low, too quiet, so it kind of cuts in and out. So like if I whisper at a really quiet volume like this, like if I were to count to 10, let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like you hear how some of them are pretty quiet compared to others. But that's like the only problem right now. It doesn't cut out anything else. And I mean, how often are you going to whisper? And even that, if I want to do like whispering, quote unquote, I can just whisper loudly if I want it to. Other than that, though, now if I turn on my AC, it's still really subtle. Keep in mind, my AC is extremely loud. I'm going to turn it on. So now, we're in complete silence. So this is the most significant example of how you'd be able to hear it. You'll notice you really don't hear a lot of noise still, but if you turn it up enough and you listen really closely, the The air conditioner sound is there in the form of sounding almost like you're talking next to a snare drum or something. Like it's just a tiny little bit in the background, but it's so subtle. And like if there was any sound, it would be completely inaudible. And to most of you guys, I'm assuming you can't even hear it anyway. It does an excellent job. Like that's so loud back there.